Hello, it's Matt again for Guitar Nerds, and we're here with Tom from
Hello.
Alpha Mountain Party, and we are looking at his brand new pedal board, finished late last night.
Yes, very late last night. So late, in fact, that I got in a lot of trouble with my girlfriend. So, woo!
Definitely worth it. I mean, look at it. It's glorious.
Mate. Thanks. I worked hard.
I think the great thing is like seeing all these pedals is just kind of like, it makes me want loads more.
Yes, that's the ultimate aim, isn't it, really? I go by the guise of a salesman, but pretending to be in a band. But I just want you to buy more stuff. I've got investments in all of these companies, you see.
And we've got the Boss ES8 switching system.
Yeah, just got that about a month ago. Again, only just got it on the board, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Kicks the crap out of my old one, which is good. Just a lot more flexible, does a lot more, controls a lot more of my pedals kind of via the MIDI stuff, which I kind of half set up. I've still got a few bits left to do with that, but it's kind of getting there. It's good. Awesome.
So, well, let's start at the beginning of your signal chain, and let's start with the guitar and take us through the board and into the amps.
Cool. Well, this is my guitar. This is a Fender Telecaster, as you can see. I assume anyone that's watching this is going to know what a Fender Telecaster looks like. It's a highway one, which I think a 2004, which I don't really know the specifics of what that means. I just know that it was made in the US, but maybe has Mexican bits on it or something.
I think they were like a precursor to what is now the American Special. So they're kind of like basically an American-built guitar, but they came with like a soft bag and rather than a hard case, and I think slightly different pickups.
Right. I mean, I love it. I got it when I was about 16, and it's kind of the only guitar that I've really just constantly played for the last like 11 years. It's, I think I might have said 12 years in the last time I did an interview. Doesn't matter. It's awesome. It's called Daphne as well, because it's Daphne blue. It's quite a rare colour, I believe. I think there's a Japanese one that's in Daphne blue at the moment, which I'm lusting after just because it's exactly the same as that one. But that's my guitar anyway.
Excellent. And I understand with the board you actually built the board yourself, right?
I did. Yeah. I don't know. I'm one of these people that likes to have a bit of a project on the go. So I've built a guitar. I've built a speaker cabinet. I built my last pedal board and I built a new one now. So yeah, I've been building it for about 2-3 months now, just kind of slowly putting the bits together. I mean, the initial idea, ludicrously enough, was to try and compact my setup with it a little bit, but I've actually made it much, much bigger, just by mistake. But it's a bit of a better design. All the kind of power and all the guts of it are all kind of underneath this kind of treadle thing, so you can lift it up and see what's underneath. And I've just got a couple of Allen bolts on the side to kind of keep it nice and secure.
Cool. And I suppose because you're using the ES8, obviously you can change the order of all the pedals inside the unit. So rather than maybe running us through the signal chain, just talk us through a couple of the pedals you got. And I see you've got some weird and wonderful sort of rare bits like the old Tim on there.
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit of a drive nerd. My good friend Daniel would call me a drive snob, and I'd probably agree with him, to be honest. But so I've got a few different things. I've spent a long time kind of bouncing around through various different drive pedals and stuff. I kind of got a bit of a thing for the whole vintage, well, not vintage, but like, boutique-y pedal stuff. I don't know. I just got a bit into it. But yeah, I got the Tim. Oddly enough, there's a guy that lives up the road from me, and I live in a tiny village, like a tiny little village in rural Lancashire. And he lives about a quarter of a mile up the road from me, and he sells those. And loads of other like rare vintage guitars and stuff like that. And basically, I think Paul Cochran, who made them, doesn't make the Tim anymore. He just makes the Timmy because it's a bit more popular and not as bulky. But that's kind of got an extra boost channel on, which I thought was quite cool. And yeah, this fella up the road was actually selling a load of them, so I kind of went and had a little go with one and was like, that's kind of exactly what I like about drive pedals. So I think it's kind of commonly referred to as a transparent overdrive, and it just kind of, it's a bit like a really hyped up clean boost, so it just kind of takes the sound of your guitar and then just kind of makes it really, really present and really just brilliant. I really like it. And then I kind of, my main drive tone, which I guess we'll come to a bit later, I actually stack it with the Zen drive, and I think it's one of the original Hamida audio ones, but I don't know, I bought it off a mate. I think he regrets selling it really badly.
I think because I think if it's an original one, they're like really rocketing in price. So
yeah, I mean, I don't actually know, and I don't know how to find out. He told me it is. It doesn't say Love Pedal on it anywhere, so I think it might be. I'm going to look after it though, because it sounds really nice. I mean, it's kind of one of those pedals that I don't really play the kind of music that pedal is designed for. So I don't play like kind of, shreddy solos or blues or anything. I'm not really after that dumble tone or whatever, but I know that's kind of what they loosely do. I just kind of used it one day, and it's got this really nice kind of thick low mid thing going on, which works really, really nicely with my telly, because obviously that particular telly is quite bright and really upfront and angry, so it's good to kind of just balance it off with a little bit of kind of fatness down in the low mid. So yeah, I like
cool.
that.
And going from one extreme to another, you've got the amp tweaker Type Metal.
Yeah, it's horrible. It sounds like someone thrown up on your stomach or something. It's really gross.
Great description.
I really, really like it. I mean, it's not the kind of pedal that I would use all the time, but I just kind of throw it in. We've got this one song called Athlete's Face, and I kind of got it for the end, and it's in drop B, and I do this kind of like bend behind the nut on the Telecaster, and use the kind of the Type Metal. And I think it's kind of loosely based around a PV5150 preamp thing, and it's just like this really aggro kind of, like when you stand on it, all you can hear is that kind of sound, and that's what I wanted really, because it kind of goes like, it's the direct opposite of my other drives, which are all about just kind of like, teasing your guitar amp a little bit, whereas that's just like and yeah. And
so what else we running?
What else have we got that's of note? Big fan of like silly octave sounds. I'm in a 3-piece, which does afford me a little bit more room to kind of play around. I mean, we're a particularly kind of aggro 3-piece. We're I think you'd probably call us a power trio if you were going to go down that route. So yeah, I mean, I've got a Whammy 5, probably the best Whammy ever made. I think anyway. Certainly tracks better than the 4. Just really, really good. All the MIDI features, which I guess they've had for a while, but yeah, it's just a great pedal. I absolutely love it. I use it quite a lot. The Micro Pog is kind of a bit of a staple for anyone in a sort of mathy band. OC2, again, another just kind of quite gross sounding octaver. I use it for just particularly horrid kind of riffs and stuff.
It just does this thing, like octave thing, just so well that it's like kind of different to anything else. And obviously we've seen a few of them today, and they're just like an awesome bit of kit.
They're brilliant. I mean, I remember a little while ago, before I kind of really knew anything about what I was doing, I put like a post up on a forum, and I was like, I've got an OC2, but it's not really mine, and I'm thinking I really want one, but is there anything else that does what the OC2 does? And everyone was like, just buy an OC2, mate, they're the best at that thing. And they are brilliant. I mean, if you want an octaver that just sounds similar to the Type Metal in its kind of disgustingness, because that's what I use it for. I mean, I know you can use it for like creamy lead or whatever. I'm not really bothered about that. I use it for like big farty horrible riffs, and it's cracking. Really good pedal.
So we've got all the drives, we've got all the octaves, and also one thing we were talking about before we started is that you're actually running a loop expander for more pedals inside the ES8.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I mean, the ES8's got 8 loops, hence the name. Although technically 9 if you include the volume loop, really, I suppose, which you can use for other pedals.
I don't know if ES9 has the same ring to it.
It doesn't. 8 sounds better. It rhymes with other words like late and great. So that's good. So yeah, I've got underneath here, which is connected via a MIDI cable, I've got a Decibel 11 loop expander, which gives me 4 extra loops, so I can kind of technically run, I think that makes 13 loops. So I've got all my drives running through that, which then run through the effects, the kind of send return loop of the noise suppressor, which means there's always a bit of noise gating going on my drives, which makes it really tight and clean, which I find is really important using kind of pretty much exclusively single coils on a Telecaster. So yeah, that's all kind of fully programmable, so I can just stand on the patch. The other element to that is I'm just incredibly lazy, and one of the reasons why I bought one of the ES8s is because I absolutely hate tap dancing live. I'd rather spend my time kind of throwing my slightly porky body about the place. So yeah, so I kind of bought that, so I didn't really have to worry about that.
Yeah. I mean, I've got one, and I've had one for a little while, and it's one of those things that actually, in a way, also expands creativity, because you can kind of create patches and like combinations of pedals that you probably physically wouldn't be able to tap dance live.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was on my old board, which, I mean, I haven't added a whole lot from my old board onto this one. I was kind of aware of the fact that there were a load of things that my board could do that I couldn't with its kind of current setup. So just kind of controlling different things, like being able to just use the whammy differently because of the MIDI control and the timeline and all those kind of extra features that I could do with like the press of one button with this, because it's got all the effects, kind of the MIDI routing stuff on it. So if anything, it was a bit like kind of unlocking the pedal board, really. So we're just coming into a new kind of writing cycle. So we just started writing a new album. So it's kind of probably going to feature quite heavily just kind of me being a bit more creative with the pedals. I mean, I for a guy with a lot of pedals, I'm actually pretty bread and butter with the way that I use them. I'm not as fancy as some people, mostly, once again, because I'm quite lazy. But I'm hoping with the wonder of this lovely new Boss product, I'll be able to open up a few things that I wasn't.
Well, yeah, because I suppose the thing is with MIDI, you've got things like the M5, which is kind of like, we've always said on our YouTube channel that M5's like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to being able to control it via MIDI and giving you loads of effects, basically.
That's it. I mean, I bought that purely because I thought, well, I don't want a tremolo pedal, I don't want a phaser pedal or a flanger. I definitely don't want a flanger. But I do want to have the option there if I need it. And there's some other like mad stuff on there, like some of the synth sounds and things, which I think I'm probably going to be using on a couple of newer tunes. So just kind of got it for that reason, really, just so that I've got, the option of a few different sounds, a few different things that I'd need to have like 10 additional pedals to get out of. So I mean, it's a great little pedal, and for something that, I think I remember posting it once on another forum and someone going, I need to get an Eventide, mate. And I was like, well, yeah, but that's 500 quid and that cost me 50 quid. And I'll probably use it for like 20 seconds in any set, or hopefully more. But, I just thought it kind of makes sense, really. And the sounds are good enough for me not to really care about.
Is there anything that you're using on your boards? Like, is it anything that you use like, kind of like all the time? It's like, if you... So I think we said earlier, is there anything you had to get rid of everything and keep one thing? Is there anything that you kind of always need to have?
I pretty much always play, well, not always, but I think the dirt side of things is really important. I could probably get away with just having, which is hilarious, really. I probably could get away with playing an AMTP set with like a dirt pedal. But the thing that was really interesting, and me and Dan from Cleft had this discussion a little while ago, is that if we lost all our amps and all our guitars, as long as we still had our pedal boards, we probably could still play a set, because the pedal boards kind of become a lot more important. With a band like ours, like AMTP, it's about the different kind of sonic textures that you can create, rather than it just being about, just playing bread and butter kind of sounds. So I've just kind of done a really big circle there and said I could do a whole set with one pedal, and then at the end of it said it's not really about playing a set with one pedal. So the answer is I don't actually know.
Fair enough. And I suppose it is one of those things where, and a lot of the boards that we're seeing, that these become, a lot of people say, it's all in the guitar, and I've got to have the guitar, I'll plug into anything, but as long as I've got my guitar. But a lot of times I find with pedal boards, it's like this becomes like an extension of your guitar, and you've got to have that, because like you say, that's your core sound is on the floor, basically.
I think that's true, and I also think that is an opinion which is fairly rooted in the genre and style of music that you play. I know there's a lot of purists out there who would be like, all you need is a really nice valve amp and a guitar, and it's all in the fingers. And maybe that's true, and I believe that that's true if you were, a blues player. But I'm not a blues player. I play big, horrible, filthy riffs, and I use lots and lots of distortion and lots overdrives and octaves.
And coming around to that all goes through these two lovely Hayden amps you're running. So what are you running amp-wise?
Well, this isn't actually technically my full rig, but the Hayden Mofo 100s is mine. and I run that into an Orange 212 normally with a Soldano Astroverb 212 combo in stereo. So Hayden have just kind of fairly recently given me the Mofo 100, and I'm really enjoying it at the moment. We're going up to the Hayden factory tomorrow, although tomorrow means nothing in this context of this
in
video.
Internet land.
No. But we're going to see Hayden, and we're going to go have a little tweak around and play with a few different other bits and pieces. So, because I used to use, and I've still got it, and I still love it, but I've got this kind of like weird prototype Groove Tubes kind of head that is like one part, like I think it's like a JCM 800 on one channel, but nicer to my ears anyway, and a Fender Bassman on the other. It's very odd, and there's a really distinctive difference between the two channels, but it's a proper one-off amp that I don't really want to tour anymore because it keeps getting slightly more broken every time, mostly because I only use a piece of cardboard as a flight case, so maybe if I got a better flight case for it I'd be fine. But anyway, Hayden very, very kindly offered me a little deal on a few things, so using their stuff at the moment, and it's lovely.
Awesome. Well, I think we should plug it in and hear some sounds.
Cool.
So we've got everything plugged in. We've got set up. So talk us through a couple of sounds. What are you gonna play for us first?
Okay. Well, this is a sound that I use quite a lot on the whammy. So I use the kind of octave up, sweep down to the octave down. There's one tune that we've got called You Eat Hummus. Of course, you listen to Genesis, which has this whammy tone on it. So a kind of sweep between this kind of tone down to the thing. And I'm just going to do that because I can't reach it because I'm small. Okay, so here we go. Played the wrong note there. Can I do it again?
Yeah, go for it.
Occasionally it doesn't track properly and sounds like balls, but that's kind of that one.
That's the cool nature of the whammy, though.
Yeah, it's good, and so I use that sound quite a lot. I mean, I quite like it for just kind of really filthy. It's dead nice. What else have we got?
Cool.
My main sort of drive tone, I just use I kind of almost exclusively use a bridge pickup on a telly. It's really angry, but I don't really care. I think it sounds cool, so that sort of jive. What else we got over here? I'll put that in. I have. I do actually use kind of ambient-y weirdo effects a little bit more, often particularly in the kind of older stuff. Everyone's kind of favourite that these things do is the kind of shimmery stuff. But I also have some sounds on this guy, which kind of a weird like lo-fi. It's not set right. It's because it's got the MIDI on it. So it's like a really filtered delay sound, and I use that quite a lot. Again, I'd probably, if I'd set this board up about a month ago, I probably could have shown you what I was doing with it a little bit more, but I only finished it yesterday.
I can guarantee you that you'll program it and then you'll go, oh yeah, I'm bored of all those sounds. I just go back and reprogram.
Probably, yeah. But anyway, so that's kind of a rough guide to some of the sounds I use. I tried to show you one earlier, didn't work. Can't remember what button I've stored it under. So I guess
you'll get there.
I will do. I guess that's one of the pitfalls of using a system like this is you can't really just wing it on the fly. So I've learned a lesson here today. as I fully expected to. Anyway.
Don't build your pedal board the day before you come and do a talk about your rig.
Well, I would have done it. I would have had 2 days had I not had a steaming hangover on Sunday. So yeah, we live and learn, don't we?
We do indeed. So where can people check out this awesome pedal board?
Well, you can't yet because there's no recorded versions of it. But
the previous version.
The previous version is alphamaleteaparty.bandcamp.com, I think, probably. And we're all on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. I mean, search Alpha Male Tea Party in Google and you'll pretty much find it because it's not the most common name out there. There we go.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more videos soon.